Have you ever felt that sinking feeling when someone you care about starts pulling away? One day things feel warm and easy, and the next, her texts are slower, her tone feels colder, and you're left wondering, what happened? It's confusing, frustrating, and let's be honest, it hurts. Your mind races, replaying conversations, searching for clues, asking yourself, did I say something wrong? Did I miss a sign? That panic, that urge to fix things right now, is natural. But what you do next matters more than you think. This isn't about chasing or convincing someone to stay. It's about you, your peace of mind, your emotional strength, your self-respect. Today I'm going to share 10 powerful steps inspired by Stoic wisdom. Steps that will help you stay calm, focus on what you can control, and come out of this stronger than before. All right, are you ready? Let's dive in. When someone you care about suddenly pulls away, it feels like your world is spinning out of control. Your heart races. Your mind won't stop. Did I mess up? Is she losing interest? What can I do to fix this? And before you know it, you're reaching for your phone, typing out message after message, hoping that somehow you'll say the right thing to bring her back. But here's a reality check. The more you panic, the worse it gets. Desperation doesn't bring someone closer. In fact, it does the opposite. It pushes them further away. Why? Because panic shows insecurity. It shows that you're seeking validation, that your peace of mind depends on someone else's actions. And let me tell you, there's nothing less attractive than that. Think about it. Have you ever had someone text you repeatedly looking for reassurance? It's exhausting, right? It doesn't make you feel more connected to them. It makes you feel overwhelmed. Now imagine you're the one doing that to her. Not a good look, is it? So, take a breath. Slow down. The most powerful thing you can do right now is to remain calm. Not because you don't care, but because you do. About yourself, your dignity, and your emotional well-being. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You can't control if she pulls away. You can't control whether she responds or not, but you can control how you handle yourself in this moment. And that's where your real power lies. When you stay composed, you send a message to her, and more importantly to yourself, that you're not going to be shaken by temporary silence. You're showing that you have emotional stability, that you're grounded, that you're confident in who you are. And confidence? That's magnetic. It's not about ignoring your feelings or pretending you're unaffected. It's about recognizing that you don't need to act on every emotion. That knot in your stomach, the urge to call her or double text, it's normal. But reacting impulsively only makes things worse. Instead, let her feel your calmness through your silence. Let her wonder why you're not panicking. That's what creates curiosity. That's what makes her think, maybe he's stronger than I thought. Maybe I misjudged him. Staying calm isn't just about controlling your outward behavior. It's about controlling your inner dialogue. Talk to yourself the way a Stoic would. Remind yourself, this situation doesn't define me. Her silence doesn't make me any less worthy. My peace comes from within. You should know that the man who can stay calm when things feel uncertain is the man who stands out. While everyone else reacts emotionally, he remains grounded. And that's the kind of man people are drawn to. So, when you feel that wave of panic rising, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself, your reaction is your power. Now that you've calmed yourself down, the next step you need to give her space. I know what you're thinking. If I don't reach out, won't she forget about me? Won't the distance make things worse? That fear, that need to do something, is what drives most people to chase, to send just one more text, to check in, to ask, hey, is everything okay? But here's the uncomfortable truth. Silence is an answer. When someone pulls back, they're communicating something. Maybe they're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe they need time to think. Maybe they're dealing with things you don't even know about. Whatever the reason, bombarding her with messages won't bring her closer. It will only push her further away. Think about it. When you're feeling unsure or stressed, the last thing you want is someone demanding your attention, right? It's suffocating. It doesn't make you feel cared for. It makes you feel pressured. That's exactly how she'll feel if you keep chasing. So what should you do instead? Give her space. Respect her need to step back. Let her feel your absence. And no, this isn't about playing mind games or making her miss you on purpose. It's about showing that you respect her autonomy, that you understand she's a person with her own thoughts, feelings, and process, and you're mature enough to give her that freedom. And here's the key. Use that space wisely. Don't just sit around waiting for her to come back. Don't waste your days staring at your phone, hoping for a text. That's not respecting her space. That's just putting your life on pause. Instead, focus on yourself. Dive into your work. Pick up that hobby you've been putting off. Hit the gym, spend time with friends, or start learning something new. Show yourself and her that you're a complete person with or without her presence. Because people are naturally drawn to those who are grounded and self-sufficient. When she sees that you're still living your life, that you haven't fallen apart, it sends a powerful message. It shows that you're not dependent on her for your emotional stability, that you value her, but you don't need her to feel whole. And here's something even more important. You'll start to feel better about yourself. You'll realize that your peace, your happiness, your sense of self-worth, it was never in her hands to begin with. In Stoicism, we're reminded to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. You can't control her actions. You can't control whether she responds, whether she comes back, or what she's thinking, but you can control how you spend your time, how you show up for yourself. So instead of asking, when will she come back? Ask yourself, how can I grow during this time? Because here's the thing. When you give someone space, something magical happens. They get the chance to reflect, to miss your presence, to appreciate what you brought into their life. But if you don't give them that space, if you're always in their ear, always trying to fix things, they never get that chance. Respecting her space doesn't mean you've given up. It means you're confident enough to let things breathe. It means you trust that if it's meant to be, she'll find her way back. And if she doesn't, you've still got you. So let her feel your calmness in the silence. Let her see your strength in the distance. And most importantly, let yourself grow. You've taken a step back. You've calmed your emotions, respected her space, and resisted the urge to chase. Now comes the most important part. What you do with this time. This isn't about her. It's about you. It's about using this moment of distance to turn your focus inward and ask yourself a powerful question. Am I the kind of man I want to be? Let's be real. It's easy to get comfortable in a relationship, to fall into routines, to let little goals slide, telling yourself you'll get to them later. But now, this is your time to sharpen yourself, to step into the best version of who you are. Think about it. What areas of your life have you been putting off? Maybe it's your physical health. You've been saying you'll hit the gym, but never got around to it. Or maybe it's your mental well-being. You've been so focused on the relationship that you've neglected your own peace of mind. Whatever it is, this is your moment to take action. Don't sit around waiting for her to come back. That's wasted energy. Instead, channel that energy into becoming better. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Want to learn a new skill? Pick up a book. Always wanted to start a new hobby? Now's the time. Thinking about leveling up your career? Go for it. Your growth is magnetic. You should know that. When you're thriving, people notice. But when you're stuck in a loop of overthinking and self-pity, that's when people pull away. Think about how attractive it is when someone is fully invested in their life, when they're working out, pursuing their passions, leveling up their mindset. That kind of energy pulls people in. Why? Because it shows self-respect. It shows confidence. And confidence isn't about shouting from the rooftops. It's in your actions. It's in the way you carry yourself. It's in how you show up for yourself every single day. Now, I'm not saying you should work on yourself just to make her notice. That's not the point. Do it for you. Because when you're genuinely investing in your own growth, something incredible happens. You stop worrying about who's texting you. You stop overthinking what she's doing. And you realize that your life, your happiness, your peace of mind was never meant to depend on someone else. Imagine this. She pulls away, and instead of falling apart, you level up. You start hitting the gym regularly. You focus on your career. You reconnect with your friends. You pick up a hobby that lights you up inside. Then one day she sees you. Maybe on social media, maybe in person. And what does she see? Not a man who's been waiting by his phone. Not a man who's spiraled into desperation. But a man who's thriving, who's focused, who's in control of his own life. That's when she starts to wonder, did I underestimate him? And here's the boost you need. Whether she comes back or not, doesn't even matter. Because by that point, you've built something even more valuable. Your own inner strength. So stop waiting. Stop worrying. Start growing. There's a version of you, a stronger, more grounded, more confident version, waiting on the other side of this moment. It's time to meet him. By now, you've taken a deep breath. You've stopped chasing. You've started focusing on your own growth. But here's where things get tricky. Expectations. Because let's be honest, in the back of your mind, you're probably still hoping that if you handle this right, she'll come back. That at some point, her name will pop up on your phone, and things will go back to how they were. And you know what? She might. Or she might not. Here's the hard truth. You can't control her reaction. You can't control how she feels, what she's thinking, or what decisions she's going to make. And if you tie your peace of mind to her response, if your happiness depends on whether she texts you back or shows up again, you're setting yourself up for endless anxiety. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, put it perfectly. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. Think about that for a second. The more you obsess over things you can't influence, her thoughts, her feelings, her actions, the more powerless you feel. And that's exactly why so many people spiral when someone pulls away. They put their peace in someone else's hands. You should know that. Your peace of mind is yours to protect. It shouldn't depend on anyone else's behavior. So, what's the solution? Detach from the outcome. I'm not saying you shouldn't care about the relationship or hope for the best. Of course you do. But what I am saying is this. You need to be okay regardless of what happens next. She might reach out tomorrow. She might need more time. or she might not come back at all. You have to be prepared for all possibilities. And I get it, that's not what you want to hear. But here's the truth. When you let go of the need to control the outcome, you set yourself free. You stop waiting for that text. You stop feeling like your entire world is on pause. You regain your power. Ask yourself this: do you really want your peace of mind to depend on someone else's choices? Because here's what happens when you manage your expectations. You start living again. You're no longer stuck in a waiting game. You're no longer glued to your phone hoping for some sign of reassurance. Instead, you're grounded. You're focused. You're building your life on a foundation that you control. And ironically, that's the energy that often draws people back. Confidence, calmness, detachment. Why? Because when someone sees that you're not chasing, that you're not falling apart, they realize you're someone who respects yourself. And respect is attractive. But whether she returns or not isn't the point. The point is this: you'll be okay either way. So how do you manage your expectations in a practical sense? Start by reminding yourself daily, I can't control her actions. I can only control my response. My peace comes from within, not from someone else. I'm worthy no matter what happens. It's not about giving up hope. It's about freeing yourself from the need to control what's outside your power. And here's the best part. When you let go of expectations, life flows easier. You're no longer caught in the endless loop of what if. You're no longer waiting for someone else to give you permission to feel at peace. You've given that permission to yourself. So take a deep breath. Let go of the need to control her response. Focus on your own journey. And trust that whatever happens next, you'll be just fine. So, we've made it halfway through. And before we dive into the next lesson, can I ask you for a quick favor? Just hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of the latest videos from this channel. Alright, I won't keep you waiting. Let's jump right into it. You've done the hardest part. You've calmed your emotions, given her space, and focused on becoming a better version of yourself. But inevitably, the question comes up. Should I reach out? And if so, what should I say? The truth is, there's no magic text that will fix everything. But if you do decide to reach out, how you communicate is just as important as what you say. And this is where many people mess up. They let their emotions take over. They start sending impulsive, desperate messages. Why are you ignoring me? Or, I don't understand what happened. Please talk to me. Let me be clear. Desperation pushes people away. It makes you look needy, insecure, and out of control. And remember, we've been talking about this throughout the entire journey. Emotional stability is key. Instead of coming from a place of fear or frustration, approach the conversation with calmness and clarity. You're not here to beg for her attention. You're not demanding explanations. You're simply opening the door for communication when she's ready. A simple message like this goes a long way. Hey, I respect that you need some space. I just want you to know I'm here when you're ready to talk. Notice the difference? It's calm. It's clear. It shows maturity. There's no panic, no pressure, just respect. And you know what happens when you communicate like that? You set yourself apart. Because most people, when they feel hurt or ignored, lash out. They react emotionally. They try to control the situation. But you're not doing that. You're showing that you're different. You're grounded. You're someone who can handle difficult moments with grace. Think about it from her perspective. She stepped back for a reason. Maybe she's overwhelmed. Maybe she needs time to process her emotions. The last thing she wants is someone constantly in her ear demanding answers. But when you calmly acknowledge her need for space and offer a respectful, open line of communication, you show her that you're someone she can trust to handle things maturely. You should know that you're not chasing, you're not sending text after text. You're simply leaving the door open. And that's powerful. Now let's talk about tone, because tone matters. When you do reach out, don't let frustration or bitterness creep into your message. Avoid passive-aggressive comments like, "I guess you're too busy to talk." That kind of energy undermines everything you've been working toward. Instead, stay grounded in your own self-respect. Think of the message as an invitation, not a demand. You're saying, "I value our connection, but I also value myself. I'm here if you're ready to talk, but I'm not chasing you for answers." And here's a key point. Once you've sent that message, let it go. Don't sit by your phone waiting for a response. Don't keep checking if she's read it. That defeats the whole purpose of staying calm and centered. You've said your piece. Now go back to living your life. And remember, this isn't about manipulation. You're not playing games or using silence as a tactic to make her miss you. You're simply respecting her boundaries and yours. If she responds, great. If she doesn't, you're still in control of your own peace. Because the real win here isn't whether or not she comes back. It's about how you've handled yourself. It's about showing that you're someone who can navigate difficult emotions without losing your composure. That's what makes you stand out. That's what makes people respect you. So when the time comes to communicate, remember, calm, clear, confident, no chasing, no pleading, just a mature, respectful message that shows you value the connection, but you also value yourself. And trust me, that's the kind of energy people are drawn to. By now, you've done the hard work. You've calmed down, given her space, focused on your own growth, and reached out with calm, respectful communication. But there's still one trap many people fall into: the temptation to play mind games. You know what I'm talking about. That voice in your head saying, maybe if I post a picture of myself having fun, she'll see it and feel jealous. Or, what if I ignore her now to give her a taste of her own medicine? It's that sneaky urge to manipulate the situation, to control how she feels by making her miss you or wonder what you're up to. And let me be clear, that behavior is rooted in insecurity. It comes from a place of fear. Fear that you're losing control, fear that she's slipping away, fear that you're not enough on your own. But here's something you should know. Insecurity pushes people away. People can sense it. They can feel when you're posting something for them, when your actions are driven by the need for validation or a reaction. And nothing screams, "I'm not okay without you," louder than trying to provoke a response. So let's make one thing clear. No games, no manipulation, no pretending. Instead, be authentic. If you're genuinely enjoying life, spending time with friends, pursuing your passions, working on yourself, share that. But do it for you, not for her. Ask yourself before you post something, am I sharing this because I'm proud of it? Or am I hoping she'll see it? If the answer is the latter, don't post it. True confidence doesn't need to prove anything. It doesn't need to scream, "Look how happy I am without you." True confidence is quiet. It's steady. It's rooted in the knowledge that your life is full and meaningful, whether she's watching or not. You gotta know this. That quiet confidence is far more attractive than any game you could play. Think about it. Who's more appealing? The person who's clearly trying to get a reaction? posting every little detail to prove they're doing fine? Or the person who's genuinely living their life, grounded, content, and unbothered by whether someone is watching? It's obvious, right? People are drawn to authenticity. They're drawn to those who are secure in themselves, who don't need to manipulate situations to feel validated. And here's another thing to remember. Playing games only drags you down. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of obsessing over how she's going to react. Did she see my post? Did she like it? Is she thinking about me now? That's exhausting. And worse, it takes you away from what really matters, your own growth and peace of mind. Marcus Aurelius said it best: the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. You can't control how she feels. You can't control whether she misses you, but you can control how you show up in the world. So let go of the games. Let go of the need to make her jealous or to prove anything. Focus on living authentically. If you're happy, share it. If you're making progress, celebrate it. But do it for yourself. Because when you start living from a place of genuine confidence, something incredible happens. You stop caring whether she notices or not. And ironically, that's when people start to notice, when you're no longer chasing, when you're no longer trying to control the narrative, when you're just being. So let go of the insecurity, let go of the mind games, be real, be grounded, be you. Because at the end of the day, that's what truly makes you unforgettable. Now that you've let go of chasing, stopped playing games, and started focusing on your own life, it's time to do something most people avoid. Look in the mirror. And I don't mean checking your reflection to see if you look good. I mean looking inward. Taking an honest, sometimes uncomfortable look at who you've been in this relationship. Because if you don't take this time to reflect, you're going to repeat the same patterns over and over, whether with her or someone else. The reality is, relationships don't just fall apart overnight. They unravel slowly, piece by piece. And while it's easy to point the finger and say, she's pulling away, this is all on her, the truth is, it takes two. So ask yourself some tough questions. Have I been fully present in this relationship? Have I respected her boundaries? Have I communicated openly and honestly? And here's the hardest one. Have I been the best version of myself? Take a moment to really sit with those questions. It's not about beating yourself up or placing blame. It's about gaining clarity. Because clarity brings growth, and growth brings change. Sometimes when someone pulls away, it has nothing to do with you. They're processing their own emotions, their own struggles. But other times, it's a reaction to subtle things you may have missed. Things you didn't think were a big deal at the time. Maybe you dismissed her feelings without realizing it. Maybe you weren't as present as you thought. Maybe you took her for granted in small ways. This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about taking responsibility for your part and growing from it. You should know that you can't change the past, but you can learn from it. Think back to your last conversation with her. Were you really listening, or were you just waiting for your turn to talk? Think about moments when she may have hinted that something was bothering her. Did you notice? Did you ask? Or did you brush it off, assuming everything was fine? Self-reflection isn't easy. It takes courage to face your own shortcomings, but it's also incredibly liberating. When you can look yourself in the mirror and say, I see where I can do better, and I'm committed to growing, you free yourself from the cycle of overthinking and regret. And here's the beautiful part. When you grow, you attract better relationships. Whether it's with her or someone new, the work you do on yourself will show. People are drawn to those who are self-aware, those who don't play the victim but take ownership of their actions. That kind of emotional maturity is rare, and it's magnetic. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are consumed with blaming her, playing games, or replaying what you should have said, you're coloring your soul with negativity. But if your thoughts are focused on growth, on becoming better, you start to change from the inside out. So take this time to reflect honestly, not for her, for you. The strongest relationships are built on two whole, self-aware individuals, not two people looking to complete each other. And if she comes back, you'll be ready to meet her with a stronger, more grounded version of yourself. If she doesn't, you'll still walk away stronger. Either way, this time of reflection is not wasted. It's the foundation for everything you're becoming. So, ask yourself those tough questions and be brave enough to answer them honestly. That's where real growth begins. Let's be real. When someone pulls away, it's so easy to get trapped in your head. The anxiety kicks in, and suddenly you're consumed by what if? What if she never comes back? What if I ruined everything? What if this is the end? It feels like the silence stretches on forever, like one unanswered text is the final chapter in your story. But here's the thing, it's not. Stoicism teaches us to see beyond the moment, to step back and look at the bigger picture. A week of silence? A disagreement? It's just one chapter. It doesn't define the entire relationship. It doesn't define you. Think about it. When you're reading a book, do you judge the entire story by a single bad chapter? Of course not. Relationships are the same way. They have ups and downs, moments of connection and moments of distance. But when you're in the middle of it, when emotions are high, it's easy to forget that. You start thinking this moment is everything. You start spiraling, convinced that if you don't fix things immediately, it's all over. You gotta know this. It's not your job to control the outcome. It's your job to show up as the best version of yourself, with patience, calmness, and clarity. The rest? It's out of your hands. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. You can't control whether she comes back. You can't control what she's feeling or thinking, but you can control how you respond, how you grow, and how you carry yourself through this chapter. So, instead of obsessing over whether she'll return, ask yourself a different question. Is this relationship healthy for both of us? Because here's something most people don't consider. Distance can be a sign that things need to evolve. Sometimes space is necessary for both people to reflect, reset, and grow. Relationships aren't meant to stay stagnant. They need to shift, adapt, and evolve, or they'll fall apart. Maybe this distance is giving her time to figure out what she really wants. And maybe it's giving you the opportunity to do the same. Take a step back and ask yourself, am I holding on to this relationship out of fear? Do I want her back because it's what's best for both of us? Or just because I'm scared of being alone? Have we been growing together? Or have we been stuck in old patterns? Sometimes the hardest truth to face is that distance happens for a reason. It's not always a bad thing. It's a chance to reflect on what's working, what's not, and what needs to change for the relationship to move forward in a healthier way. And here's the key. Whether she comes back or not, your growth doesn't stop. You've already started this process of self-improvement, of emotional stability, of letting go of mind games and insecurity. Don't stop now. If she comes back, great. You'll be stronger, more grounded, and better prepared to handle the relationship with maturity and wisdom. If she doesn't, you'll still be stronger. You'll have gained the tools to navigate life's challenges with calmness and grace. Because here's the reality: you're playing the long game. This isn't about winning someone back today or tomorrow. It's about becoming the kind of person who thrives, regardless of what happens around them. When you embrace the bigger picture, you stop getting lost in the little moments of anxiety and doubt. You start focusing on what really matters: your growth, your peace, your purpose. And that shift in mindset, it changes everything. Suddenly, you're not chasing answers or begging for clarity. You're simply living, growing, and trusting that what's meant for you will never pass you by. So let go of the panic. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Zoom out. Look at the bigger picture. This chapter might be challenging, but it's not the whole story. The story is still being written, and you're the one holding the pen. Choose to write it with strength, grace, and confidence. Let's be honest. When someone you care about pulls away, the urge to chase after them is overwhelming. You feel that panic creeping in, and your mind starts racing with thoughts like, if I just explain myself, she'll understand. Or maybe if I reach out one more time, she'll see that I still care. Just so you know, the more you chase, the more you push her away. Why? Because when someone creates distance, they're asking for space. And when you ignore that request, you're telling them, intentionally or not, that their boundaries don't matter. You're making it about your need for reassurance instead of respecting what they've clearly communicated. And here's the key point: respect breeds respect. When you honor her decision to take a step back, you're showing strength, maturity, and emotional control. You're saying, I hear you, I respect what you need, and I'm strong enough to give you that space. That's not weakness, that's real confidence. When boundaries are healthy, they allow both people in a relationship to reflect, grow, and understand their own needs. By respecting her boundaries, you're not only showing her that you're someone who values her autonomy, but you're also giving yourself the gift of time to focus on your own growth. Now, let me be clear. Respecting her space doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you pretend like she doesn't matter. It simply means you trust that what's meant to be will unfold naturally, without you forcing it. And that trust, it's powerful. Think about it this way. If you're constantly chasing someone who's pulling away, you're operating from a place of fear. Fear of losing them, fear of being alone, fear that you're not enough on your own. But when you choose to respect their boundaries and focus on your own well-being, you shift from fear to strength. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So ask yourself, what thoughts are you feeding right now? Are you feeding thoughts of fear and anxiety? What if she never comes back? What if she forgets about me? Or are you feeding thoughts of growth and resilience? This is my time to focus on becoming stronger. I trust that whatever happens, I'll be okay. When you shift your mindset from fear of losing her to focusing on your own growth, you change the entire dynamic. You go from being someone who's chasing validation to someone who's centered, grounded, and in control of their own peace. And people notice that. When she sees that you're not bombarding her with messages, when she realizes you're not trying to control the situation, when she feels the calm, steady energy you're putting out, that's when respect grows. Because people are drawn to those who respect themselves. People are drawn to strength, not desperation. So the next time you feel that urge to reach out, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself, respect her space. Focus on my own growth. Trust the process. Respecting boundaries isn't a passive act. It's an active choice to honor yourself and the other person. It's saying, I don't need to force anything. I'm strong enough to let things unfold naturally. Whether she comes back or not, you'll walk away stronger. You'll walk away knowing that you handled yourself with grace, dignity, and emotional maturity. And that's what it means to truly respect someone and yourself. So, let go of the chase. Let go of the need to control. Respect her boundaries and watch how it changes everything. Here we are, the final step. And for many, it's the hardest. Letting go. I know it sounds painful. The very thought of letting someone go feels like admitting defeat, like you're giving up on the connection, on the memories, on everything you shared. But here's what most people don't realize. Letting go isn't about giving up. It's about setting yourself free. When someone pulls away, the instinct is to hold on tighter. You think, if I just keep trying, if I don't let go, maybe I can fix this. But what happens when you grip sand too tightly? It slips through your fingers. The same thing happens in relationships. The more you chase, the more you try to control the situation, the further the other person pulls away. Holding on too tightly doesn't bring them closer. It pushes them away. Letting go gracefully doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you erase the connection or pretend like it never mattered. It means you respect both yourself and the other person enough to release control. It's saying, I trust that life will unfold as it's meant to. I trust that if this connection is meant to be, it will find its way back. And if it doesn't, I'll still be okay. Think about that for a moment. How freeing is that mindset? When you let go gracefully, you're no longer consumed by questions like, what is she thinking? Will she come back? Did I do something wrong? Instead, you shift your focus inward. You reclaim your peace. You remind yourself that your worth isn't tied to anyone else's actions. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So what kind of thoughts are you holding on to? Are you holding on to thoughts of fear and scarcity? Or are you choosing thoughts of strength, growth, and self-respect? Letting go gracefully is an act of self-love. It's saying to yourself, I deserve peace. I deserve clarity. I deserve to move forward, whether this person comes back or not. And here's the beautiful thing. Letting go creates space. When you stop holding on so tightly, you create space for clarity, for healing, for new experiences. And sometimes that space is exactly what's needed for the other person to reflect, to miss you, and to find their way back. But whether they return or not isn't the point. The point is that you're at peace either way. Letting go gracefully doesn't mean you stop feeling. It doesn't mean you stop hoping. It means you stop forcing. It means you stop tying your happiness to someone else's decisions. It means you trust yourself enough to know that you'll be okay, no matter what happens next. And that's real strength. Just so you know, life flows easier when you stop resisting, when you stop clinging to what's slipping away and start focusing on what you can control. Your own growth, your own peace, your own journey. Imagine for a moment that you're standing by a river. You see a beautiful flower floating downstream. You want to catch it. You reach out, but the more you grab at it, the faster it moves away. But if you just stand there, calm, patient, letting things flow naturally, the current might bring that flower right back to you. That's what letting go gracefully looks like. It's trusting the flow of life. It's knowing that you don't need to control every outcome to find peace and happiness. So take a deep breath. Let go of the need to control. Let go of the fear of losing her. And trust that whatever happens, you've got yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters most. Your ability to stand strong, grounded, and at peace within yourself. Let go, gracefully, and watch how life unfolds in ways you never expected. No matter what happens, whether she comes back or not, there's one truth you must hold on to. Your worth isn't defined by her presence. It never was. Your value doesn't depend on someone's attention, affection, or validation. It comes from within, from the way you choose to show up for yourself every single day. Stoic wisdom reminds us that true peace is found when we stop tying our happiness to things we can't control. You can't control her decisions, but you can control your actions, your mindset, and your growth. So, focus on that. Live authentically. Thrive independently. Become the best version of yourself, not to impress anyone, but because you deserve to be that person. And here's what you should know. The way you face this challenge says everything about your inner strength. Handle it with calmness, dignity, and self-respect, and you'll walk away stronger, no matter the outcome. This isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of something greater. So keep moving forward with clarity, confidence, and courage. Thanks for being with Stoic Heart on this journey today. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest videos. We'd love to hear your thoughts or suggestions for future topics, so drop a comment below. See you in the next video.